So, ladies and gentlemen, if you know anything about me or you've been following me for a long time, you know that for pretty much the last year and a half, 2 years, my saying, the thing I plaster everywhere, what I tell everyone is really that I'm on a mission to reform the education system. And as I said, that's going back the last 18, 24 months. And really that derives from, I'm sure most of you guys probably know by now, but I dropped out of school at the age of 17 to continue to scale my agency. That's quite a big mission, right? That's quite a big mission. And what I wanted to actually go ahead and do in this video is talk about my plans and how I intend on reforming the education system. Because look, to be entirely honest, my online education company, it's not something that I'm just planning on doing for a year, 2, 3 years, and then, I just fuck off to Bahamas or something like that. It's something that just means the absolute world to me, and it's something I want to do for the rest of my life. And there's going to be a few iterations of it, and really I just want to go ahead and portray that right here. So reform the education system, and you'll notice around the education system right here, there's a red outline, and this reads the 4.4 trillion a year scam. And that's really what I feel as though the education system is, just one big fucking scam. So if any of you guys, I basically never ever listened in history when I was in school, but one thing that I vividly remember, which I just thought was just absolutely disgusting, was and this, I have absolutely zero opinions on religion and stuff like that, but I think it was only in the 1500s that people were actually able to read the Bible, because I think it was in Latin and it wasn't translated. And my history could be off here, but it's close enough to make the point that I'm trying to make. Up until I think the 1500s, the Bible actually wasn't translated from Latin, so no one could actually understand the Bible, right? So it's people basically had to take the word of the religious institutions, and there would be things like the purgatory, where if you don't donate to the charity, then you end up in the purgatory, which basically means, like, from my understanding, you don't know whether you're going to hell or heaven, but if you donate, then you are going to go to heaven. And to be entirely honest, the fucking education system sometimes feels like that. It feels like just this massive scam that no one is paying any attention to. No one is paying any fucking attention. And you're gonna see me swear a lot here, and you're gonna see me get very angry a lot here. So if this video is definitely not gonna be PG, so if that's what you're looking for, go click on one of my other videos. This one's going to be a little bit more intense, because this is something that means a lot to me and really riles me up. Because as I said, it feels like education is like that. Like colleges are promising, almost have this promised land on the other side of it, when none of it's fucking true. No one really knows what the fuck happens on the other side of getting a college degree. And the trend is colleges keep getting more and more expensive, and the success rate just keeps going down and down and down. And it seems like it's one of the biggest crimes on earth, and no one's really batting an eye. I forget it precisely where I read it, but from what I understand, the education system is worth 4.4 trillion a year. Right, that makes it one of the biggest industries in the world. And as I said, I might say some things in here that might be like a little bit off. The numbers might be a little bit off, but I remember reading it was 4.4 trillion. So that's one big money maker, and that's the issue. Whenever something makes money, there's a gold rush to it, right? And I've even seen this, in terms of decentralization, like the decentralization of the education system. By that I mean, one thing that's amazing that's starting to happen now is someone like me, someone like the next guy, someone like the next girl, someone like, for example, some of my clients that have actually gone on to build incredible businesses can then teach their business models to others, right? So it's almost this decentralized approach to the education system through online education, online content, books, etc., etc. The only issue with that is, for some people, it's just a gold rush. And by that, I mean, for some people, they're just like, maybe I can just make some money selling courses or coaching people or this thing or that thing. And they're in it for basically entirely the wrong reasons. So that's one of the issues whenever an industry can be profitable, is that sometimes there's just a gold rush and people are in it for the wrong reasons. So reform the education system, that's basically my goal. That's been my goal, and I vowed to make that my goal even before I actually dropped out of high school. Now, so as I said, 2 parts. The first thing is revolutionary education. So there's 4 main points to this, and I mean, honestly, there's 20, 30 points and 20, 30 things I'm trying to accomplish with my online education company today, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now. And the first thing is 10 times the value of college for 100 times the value of college for 1/100th of the price. Honestly, I feel as though I already accomplished it, right? Because the thing is, for some people, they're going into college, they genuinely want to become a doctor, or they genuinely want to become a lawyer. You know, maybe their parents went through a divorce when they were younger, and now they want to become a divorce lawyer for that same reason. Or maybe they want to be a tax advisor. Whatever, you know, something along those lines. And if that's the case for you, that's awesome. I totally understand that. But let's not beat around the bush here. Let's be entirely honest with ourselves. 8% of people, the reason they want to go to college is their perception that they're going to get a good paying job after in order to make money. Let's cut out all this bullshit and get down to the root cause, which is people want to make money because money gives them freedom, it gives them options, it gives them esteem, it gives them security, etc., etc. People want to get money and they want to find a means to make money that, you know, preferably is easy, it gives them freedom, it's not too difficult, it's not too easy to not too hard to maintain, etc., etc. Like, that's people's ideal situation. So rather than someone, I had one of my best friends, he recently went to college for, I won't say what it was, but his end goal was entrepreneurship, right? And he went to college to study a degree, and I was like, look, what is your end goal? And he said, my end goal is to build a business. He was trying to decide between a couple different colleges. I'm like, dude, go to the college where you're gonna have the most fun, the best experience, and forget the degree, because the degree means nothing in the real world of entrepreneurship. College is just a simulation taught by someone who's never done the thing that they're teaching to try and help you to get to this result, when you could just, in 4 years, rather than learning about something from someone who has absolutely no fucking right to teach you that thing, you could just do the thing and get the result. Why try to do this weird 4-year simulation when you could just fucking do the thing today? That's the goal. That's one of the goals. And I genuinely believe we've already accomplished it, because there are people who've come through my online programs that are literally making more than MBA students. In fact, a lot, if not most, are making more than people with degrees fresh out of college, or even 3-4 years into college. And they're working, 20-hour work weeks, whereas these other guys are working 40 hours, but then they're commuting for 10, 20 hours, etc., etc. That's goal number one. Goal number two is 10x the results of my competitors in my competition for 1/10 of the price. And once again, I already feel as though I've achieved that, because I've been in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50K masterminds. I've bought 10K programs of my competitors out of curiosity, because I want to know where I stand in terms of the pecking order, and it's laughable. Like, literally, I have two in mind, one that I paid circa $8,000 for, and one that I paid $12,000 for, and it's honestly laughable compared to the sort of quality that Grow Your Agency is putting out. And that's where we're putting out now. Over the next few years, things are just going to get even better and better. I've got a big project and a big change and a big improvement to the company coming out within the next 6 months. And once that comes out, there will never be a discussion again in the online education space as to whose program gets the best results, because ours already, at least for the agency space, I know there's no one even close. That I've definitely gone ahead and nailed down. Now these we've gone ahead and nailed down, but we're not even close to where we want to be. And when I say we, I say myself, Kieran, who's the product manager, Esteban, who's one of the coaches and part of the customer support team as well. Danny, him and I both work on the paid traffic together, and basically everyone else who's a part of, other people who play smaller roles who are part of the team. Next thing is Eagle Eye Education, that teaches full spectrum. When you go to college, they're going to teach you some very narrow-minded just bullshit, right? When the thing that brings you the most results in life is your routines, your habits, your sense of self, your ability to focus. My question is, why are they not teaching things like meditation? Why are they not teaching things like how to actually structure your day? Why are they not teaching things like how to manage your money? Why are they not teaching things like, just even that alone, even just learning how to learn, the process and the system behind how to learn and retain knowledge. Nothing practical is taught. There's some shit that no one cares about, that they've tricked you through, years and years and decades and hundreds of years into thinking that it's actually going to get you the result on the other end, when it's not. And as I said, it's just become so disheartening to me just to find out truly how much of a cash grab the education system is. Both the formal education, right? That thing's fucking pure cash grab, and as well as a lot of the people in the online education space, how much of just a cash grab it is. And there's nothing wrong with that. My goal is not to have some philanthropic business that makes no money at all. No, I fully intend on being a multi-billionaire, but I want to do it in a way that I'm rewarded equally to the amount of value that I'm bringing into the economy and the marketplace. Eagle eye, right? So my goal in my programs and with Grow Your Agency is not just to teach people about how to, be a successful agency owner or how to run an agency. I'm also trying to teach them about cash flow and accounting. I'm also trying to teach them about how to actually learn. Just to give you some examples, whenever I go ahead and I finish a book, I actually create this community cliff notes. So I actually take all my notes from the book, and then this is a resource that people can have. Whenever I have a good, right, you can see another one right here. And I do this for basically every single book that I read, and this is available for the entire Grow Your Agency community, right? So you can see my main takeaways. You can see my main takeaways from the book. Then you can see some notes from the book and then my personal notes from it, right? Such as this. So you can see the actual passage from the book on this side, Iman's notes, and then on the right side, my students have the ability to put their thoughts, so they can put their own spin or what they thought of that specific passage from the book. Whenever I have a good documentary or a good movie that I watch that can, kind of blend entertainment and learning and kind of improving yourself at the same time, I make a recommended reading list. I'm constantly trying things in terms of my health. I'm trying different PEMF devices. I'm trying standing desks. I'm trying this headphone compared to this headphone in terms of what's best for actual productivity and optimization. Literally different like incense. I'm trying, Kindle versus normal paperback. Like I'm trying and testing all of these things for my community. So that way I can have students that have this eagle eye and literally have complete control over their entire life. Because as I said, most of the time you don't have a business problem, you have a personal problem that's manifesting in your business. As I said, that's really the goal of Grow Your Agency. Next thing is accountability and results driven programs. If my programs, and specifically for Grow Your Agency, we literally only have one because we're just trying to focus on that one and make it as best as it could be. If my program didn't get results, everyone would know about it and I would have a dying business. But the reason, the fact that we get such ridiculous results with Six Figure SMA and GrowYourAgency.com, that is my accountability and that is my result, and that means that results driven business. That means that I am accountable for the quality of the programs, the quality of the customer support, etc., etc. Whereas colleges, it seems like they're charging you so much money, yet if you don't go ahead and you don't actually get a high paying job, they're not going to hold their hands up and be like, yeah, sorry, it was our fault, we didn't actually teach you anything of fucking value. No, they're just gonna be like, oh well, obviously you didn't apply it, or you had bad luck, or this thing or that thing, right? It seems like there's absolutely zero accountability placed on colleges and whether they're actually getting their students the jobs they want after they leave, the sort of income they want after they leave. Those are just sort of four pillars that are driving forward Grow Your Agency. Now, one thing that I would say is Grow Your Agency, I want to take that to 100 million a year, and I believe I can take it to 100 million a year. If the education industry is worth 4.4 trillion a year, I believe the online education industry is worth around 500 billion a year. From what I remember, it's 360 or 5. It's around 360, I believe, 360 billion a year. Look, the education industry is currently worth around 360 billion a year. The online education industry is worth 4.4 trillion a year. So I'm pretty sure if I'm the best online education company in the space, in the world, that gets the best results for their customers, for their students, then I'm pretty sure I can get to 100 million a year. I actually was talking to Omar from The Passionate Few. We did an interview, I think 2-3 months ago, and we were actually chatting yesterday, and he's like, hey dude, do you really think you can take Grow Your Agency to 100 million a year? And yeah, I do. Because the thing is, Grow Your Agency isn't only about it's not even so much about agency. Like genuinely, if you have absolutely zero business knowledge or valuable tangible skills, and you're trying to build a successful business by providing real value to real people, for me, I haven't seen anything else that produces the same sort of results as building an agency. Yeah, there's people out there doing 1K days and stuff like that in other business models and stuff like that, but their profit margin is literally laughable. So I'm talking about like the thing about agency life is it's not sexy, but you're providing real value to real businesses. It gets better every single year. And when you talk about how much you're making, that's actually how much you're making, not 1/5 or 1/6 or 1/4 of that. That's your actual number. That's not your fucking ego number like 99% of entrepreneurs out there. That's your actual number. So look, do I think that out of this 4.4 trillion a year education system or education industry, can I literally take 0.000 like 1%, something along those lines? Yes, I believe that, right? If I stick at it the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and my goal is to get to 100 million per year within the next 5 to 7 years, right? So I genuinely do believe I can get Grow Your Agency, because Grow Your Agency is about building an agency. That to me is the best business model out there if you're just starting out, right? Because I don't think people genuinely understand how many businesses there are out there and how many untouched businesses there are out there, and how many untouched industries there are out there. In fact, recently I have quite a good relationship with a watch dealer that, I bought this Patek Philippe from and some of my other watches, and they're actually about to become a client of ours. And it's absolutely insane to see how like the watch industry, no one's running Facebook advertising. People are doing Google search ads, but apart from that, they're not really running Facebook advertising. They're not really doing email marketing, all this stuff. They're literally multi-billion dollar industries that haven't even touched marketing or online marketing. So, when people are like, oh, SMA is saturated, that's complete BS. SMA isn't saturated. All you have to do is get better, and just stick at it. And eventually, the funny thing is 90% of your competition in the first year to 2 years is gonna quit anyways. So you're left standing alone. So Grow Your Agency, I believe I can take that to 100 million a year easily. As I said, colleges, the success rate just keeps going down and down and down. And also the amount of people who are trying to go to college just keeps going down and down and down. So that means that revenue that people are spending with colleges, instead they'll be spending with online education. And I'm, hoping to be the person or one of the people, leading the forefront of that charge. Once I tap out Grow Your Agency, which once again, I believe can go further than 100 million per year, then I'm gonna get into an actual education platform. So by that, I mean, my area of expertise is starting and growing an agency and making it extremely profitable, lean, efficient, and hands-off. Like that's my area of expertise. I don't know shit about Amazon FBA. You can definitely make money in Amazon FBA. My personal preference is the agency business model, but you can definitely make money in Amazon FBA. You can make money, building an e-commerce brand, Shopify, affiliate marketing. Hell, you can make money as an accountant. You can get, as I said, I was talking to my watch dealer, and it's so crazy how much money, some of these watch dealers are making. You can make so much money. The watch market has gone so crazy in the last few years. You can make so much money literally buying and selling watches. Like there's so many different business models out there. Some have, they all have their pros and cons. So what I like to do, after this point is I'd like to move into an education platform, right? I think there's a company called Masterclass. They do something similar, but I'd like to take the, just the insane results that we've gotten with six-figure SMA and Grow Your Agency. And I'd like to apply that. And I'd like to find the best experts in every single field. It's sort of people that have no YouTube, no Instagram, really nothing about them. And I'd like to find those people and build this infrastructure and get them to release their online education program under this education company and this education platform. They could launch it on their own, launch an online course, live Q&A calls and all the systems and coaches in place and stuff like that. And they could launch that and maybe, in their first year, they'll do 100K, or they could launch with us and we have all the expertise and all the knowledge when it comes to running paid traffic on both Google and Facebook. And I'm not saying this right now, I'm saying this 10, 15, 20 years from now, right? We already do have that knowledge, but this isn't the game plan now. This is the game plan in, as I said, 10, 15, 20 years. And what we do is we take 80% of their profits, we keep 20, they keep 20%, and they would much rather 20% of, in terms of actual profit, 50 million a year, they get to make 10 million a year profit than, having 100% of 100K a year. And as I said, we'll take care of all the rest of the infrastructure. The most important thing is that they just keep improving the course and the program again, year in, year out, year in, year out. And once again, we'll take all of our knowledge from what we've been able to do with Grow Your Agency in terms of actually getting students the best results possible, and we'll implement it within their niche. To be honest, we do something similar already. My agency, it helps info product businesses, or that's around 70% of our clientele is other info product businesses. People who are experts in the Shopify space. We have a Shopify, a client who sells a Shopify course who's just honestly an absolute beast, right? And I have to vet these people before I start working with them, because once again, I'm not looking for some people who are part of that 4.4 trillion scam. I'm looking for some people who are definitely looking to make money, but are looking to make money in an ethical, honest way, and then really provide 10 times the amount of value than the price of their product. So as I said, we've had people in the stock trading space, Shopify space, Amazon FBA space, couple people in the Amazon FBA space, the design sprint space, the web design space, like really like people selling programs and informational products in all different spaces. And obviously we charge a fixed monthly retainer for that. So instead here, we're taking a percentage, and really this is where I go from, just being Grow Your Agency and me sort of being the forefront of the company to taking more of a backseat role and becoming this incredible education platform where then we have the best actual content portal in the world, we have the best application in the world, and just, really I've become just the best online education company in the world. And this is where I'm pretty sure we can take it to $1 billion a year. Look at this number, 4.4 trillion a year scam. Can we get $1 billion a year of that market share? I 100% believe that. The way to top this all off is these are paid products, right? These are paid products, these are paid courses, paid masterminds, paid coaching programs, right? All of this stuff, both when I'm just running this through myself and Grow Your Agency, and then also when I move this to an actual education company where we're also offering education in other industries and other facets. The thing is, this is paid. This is for people who can afford to cough up 500 or 1,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 or 50,000 for a mastermind. What about the fucking people who have no seat at the table, right? This is something I don't see in this industry at all. Everyone's just so fucking worried about getting their next Lambo that no one is even thinking about philanthropy, right? And I want to have this full circle approach where from this year on, basically, I want to take 10% of company profits and I want to have this full circle approach, right? So 10% of profits goes to those that don't have a seat at the table. And by that, I mean going towards building schools in underdeveloped countries. So at least they get a formal education. For someone living in, we've been talking to this organization that helps build schools in Nepal. For some village boy in Nepal, they don't need to learn how to, be able to scale Facebook ads. They just need to learn simple, basic skills that the formal education system can give you. So I have nothing against the formal education system in certain scenarios. So this is really where the full circle approach comes in. As I said, through all of this, right? Through all of this, as we go from a 2 million a year company to a 5 million a year company to 10 million a year company to, and I'm speaking exclusively about the education company, by the way, to 30 million a year company to 100 million a year company to $1 billion a year company in revenue. I want to go ahead and take 10% of those profits yearly. And as I said, spend that on building schools in underdeveloped countries and building more of an education infrastructure for those that just don't have a seat at the table, or building more programs, raising more awareness in actual primary, secondary schools about mental health, meditation, sleep, the importance of sleep on just your overall mental health, mood, energy, etc., and just have more of these free resources. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is my approach to reforming the education system. Where I'm at right now is laughable. The size of Grow Your Agency is amazing. As I said, it's incredible what we've been able to do, getting people the result that they actually want from college for 1/100th of the price, and being able to do it literally 100 times more effectively and quickly than if you had gone to college. I say this wholeheartedly. We're 10 times ahead of anyone else, at least in my niche, the agency space niche. We're 10 times ahead when it comes to actual quality of our product, and myself and the coaches that we have and the live Q&A calls and all the support, all of the tracking sheets and the resources and the plug and play templates and the cliff notes, and just this whole infrastructure that comes around just not only the course material. We're already 10 times ahead, but that's not enough for me. I've got something coming out later this year, or I've got some projects coming out over the space of the next 6 months that really is just me putting my foot down. Just really never a question again as to, who has the best online education, online informational product when it comes to building a successful online business or just building or scaling your agency. These are just four of a few of the pillars that we focus on in GrowYourAgency.com, myself and the rest of the team. And this is where we want to take it. This is how we want to take it to $1 billion a year company. And this is how we want to go ahead and make sure that we have this full circle approach where, yes, I wholeheartedly intend on being a multi-billionaire, and I know I will. Not because I'm some cocky guy or something like that. It's just because I started young. I worked way harder than anyone else I know, and I also just gave it my all and was always all ears. So, when I say I want to be a multi-billionaire, or I think I will be a multi-billionaire, that just comes from doing this long enough and just having so many hours put in that I just don't see how it won't happen, especially considering, most of the entrepreneurs that I used to look up to, or probably that you look up to, you gotta remember, they have 10, 20, 30, 40, like literally 10, 20, most of them 10, 20, 30, 40 years on me. And time, you could probably ask them whether they'd rather be in my situation with the size of my company making as much as we're making at 19, or in their situation, anyone would tell you they'd rather be my age, right? Because as I said, I have almost a decade on pretty much every single one of the big players. So that's how I want to do it. That's a full circle approach. I win, the company wins, society wins, the students and customer win. This is what I've built out, and maybe this will change over the next few years, but that's kind of my plan, right? So I hope that sheds a little bit of light. As I said, I apologize for some of the swearing and just getting a little bit heated, but that's because quite clearly, as you can see, this means a lot to me, and this is something that I've always wanted to do. This really is just my life's mission. So I hope that's quite clear to you at this point. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. Go ahead and leave your comments down below, what you agreed with, what you didn't agree with, and whether you think that this could work and this could play a role in, as I said, reforming the education system over the next 10, 20, 30 years. So hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one.